In December 2019, the Indian Army signed an import order to procure 72,400 SIG-716 assault rifles from an American company, Sig Sauer, and also to jointly manufacture 650,000 AK-203 with Russia at the Ordnance Factory in Amethi. This import order formally ended the reliance of the indigenous rifle INSAS. Since all the rifles are now imported or foreign designed, a question now rises: why can't India design its own rifle? In the 1960s, the American Army equipped their forces with a new rifle called the M14 and sent them to the Vietnam War. In the battlefield, it was clear the 20-round M14 was way inferior to the AK-47 used by the Vietnamese soldiers. To overcome this, the Army published a tender to replace the M14. Soon was born the M16 rifle. But the Army top brass kept objecting to the design and continued to order the older M14 rifle. The Army even claimed that the new M16 had jamming and accuracy issues. Finally, it took the intervention of the Secretary of Defense to halt the production of M14 and equip the American forces with a new M16 rifle. This example was brought forth to show how complex the induction of a standard rifle is into an army. Ideally, the development of rifles is a scientific process, which involves the experience of fighting troops and the strategic aims of the country they serve. Every great rifle, be the AK-47 or the M4 carbine, has gone through extensive battlefield research before it was developed and brought into service. Researchers developing these rifles looked at the reliability under adverse conditions, firepower, ease of use, weight and ergonomics. They looked at the past data of how many bullets were expended to kill a single enemy and produced designs that addressed a host of complex requirements. Unfortunately, in India, despite the rich experience of the Indian Army soldier, these inputs have never been taken into account. For instance, the Indian soldier fights in a vastly different terrain, from the heights of Ladakh to the jungles of the northeast and to deserts of Rajasthan. From moisture to dust and extreme temperatures, they contend with a variety of conditions. In India, the manufacturing of defense equipments is solely the business of the government. The Indian government runs multiple manufacturing units under an umbrella body called the OFB, or the Ordnance Factory Board. The OFB comprises of 41 ordnance factories, 9 training institutes, and 3 regional marketing centers spread all across the country. The OFB is the world's largest government-operated production organization. Its total sales were at $3 billion every year. They manufacture everything from small arms to missiles and rockets. So why don't these government companies innovate? The PSU bosses, the politicians and the bureaucrats are the decision makers regarding defense purchase and production in India. All these three are corrupt and they work hand in glove in fooling the country to believe that they are taking decisions for the benefit of the country. So why is there corruption in the first place? In India, the root cause of all corruption is the Indian elections. Democracy itself is to blame for this. The Indian general election costs anywhere between 4 to 5 billion US dollars per national party. Money has to come from somewhere. Any government in power is compelled to raise cash for the elections, and the defense route has traditionally been their favorite. Under the cover of secrecy and confidentiality, the political parties in power can receive kickbacks from foreign suppliers. The booty is then shared between the politicians, bureaucrats, and the military top brass. It's a too good deal to be let off. If India is to make its own weapons, then this kickback money will not appear in the picture. Nevertheless, India is the only country in the world which talks so much about indigenization but never implements it. Year after year, new weapons get imported and added. However, there is hope. Last year, the present BJP government published a list of items which cannot be imported but has to be compulsorily made in India. This is probably the first solid step any Indian government has taken towards indigenization. It remains to be seen how much India can sustain on indigenous defense goods and how it will affect our armed forces.